We've got Dom King, the Daily Mail Northern football correspondent. Dom, welcome to the show.
Morning, Dom.
Good morning, how are you?
You're not too bad, mate. You were actually there last night. It sounded as if it was pretty horrific, really.
Yeah, it was. It was an absolutely abysmal night. Shocking, horrifying. All those kind of words. It was something like just really sort of struggling to get my words out at the minute because it was so bad. The anger, the way people were treated, the situation that they were put in. The narrative that was put out from UEFA, total false narrative. It was, I said to someone last night, the Champions League final is a game that fans go to make memories that last the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And the memories that a lot of Liverpool fans, well, I'd say 75%, maybe more, of the fans coming back were subjected to absolute, just the kind of behaviour that nobody should be subjected to.
What did Tom? I mean, you were there. Tell us, what do you think happened? Was it just a communication breakdown? Did they overreact?
No. It was badly organised from the start. So I went up to the stadium on line 13, on the Metro line 13. That got to one of the Metro stations on the far side of the stadium, and I was with Real Madrid fans predominantly.
Yeah.
So this idea is first and foremost that it was Liverpool fans just in problems. That's wrong as well because the Madrid fans had a horrendous time of it getting in as well. So we came out of the tube station or the Metro station and under an underpass. And as soon as you came under an underpass, it was very, very tight. And you went up a set of stairs, and everybody was crowding on the set of stairs. There was no lanes for people to sort of break into or be separated. It was just a mass of people. Now in that mass of people there were local kids running around, like there was people trying to pickpocket. There'd been spates of that going on all day. People being turned away from the stadium. It was just chaos. And this was a 6:15, 6:30, so plenty of time. And so even at that point of the day, you could see there was going to be big problems coming. It was just awful.
Dom, what you would hope now, and yet I don't even trust my words as I'm saying them, is that they'll look hard at this and there'll be a serious investigation and there'll be compensation and all this kind of thing that it will be taken on board. Just one point I wanted to make was, if you're looking for anywhere to take some perspective on this, I'm reading the words of Merseyside police officers who were there as match day spotters, which of course is absolutely a crucial part of looking after crowds. And one of them said, I thought the behaviour of the fans at the turnstiles was exemplary in shocking circumstances. Now, this is boots on the ground, an experienced policeman saying, we can see where this has gone wrong. So this can't be left alone now, can it, surely?
No, it can't. And that's an important point to make. Look, I've come on national radio. Your station goes around the globe via the app and stuff. I wouldn't come on here and try and paint a disingenuous narrative. I just wouldn't do that. It's not what my job and profession in years of reporting. I'm telling you the truth and what I've seen. I went outside. I'd been outside the media area for about an hour before to see what was going on, to see how the situation was developing. I went back into the stadium at 8:40 local time, 20 minutes before kickoff, and it was clear that the game wasn't going to start because there were so many people outside. I went back outside with a number of colleagues, Jason Burt from The Telegraph, Mark Ogden from ESPN, Henry Winter, a couple of others. We all went out to have a look. We went down to Gate Y where the Liverpool fans were, and the anger, the fear, the worry that they felt. They'd been locked out of Gate Y. There was no. The gates had been shut. Nobody had told them why the gates had been shut, and they were being herded into this just massive people. And from nowhere, the French police to try and sort this situation out. Rather than helping, rather than speaking, they started getting tear gas out. And I know it was tear gas because I felt the effects of it.
Yeah.
And I can still feel the effects of it in the back of my throat.
It's horrendous. Dom,
the same.
we were just talking this morning, and again, this is the elephant in the room nobody's talking about. Less than half the capacity was given to Real Madrid and Liverpool fans. More than half the capacity was given to Newcastle. It's got to be addressed, this, Dom, hasn't it?
That's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. Jurgen Klopp mentioned about it, something about it in a press conference a couple of weeks ago, and his words had clearly irritated Alexander Ceferin, because Ceferin sent him a text message to say, to try and explain where the money goes and things like that. It's rubbish. It's another UEFA event that's where fans have been failed. Yes. I was at Wembley last year, and anybody who's going to try and there will be people that try and paint a narrative about like fans jumping gates to get in. There was sporadic incidents of it. I seen it. I wouldn't be disingenuous and come on here and say that never happened. It did. I seen some Liverpool fans jump in. I seen a lot of local kids jumping in. I seen a lot of Parisians trying to get in the stadium. But if people are trying to paint this as a situation like Wembley last year, where there was like rushing of the gates and people charging past police officers, that's just rubbish, because that did not happen. The Liverpool fans that I was spoken to, that I saw, that all of my colleagues seen, they would tell you that the Liverpool fans were impeccably behaved in horrendous circumstances. If it could have easily lit up in terms of, if people had wanted to get angry, they could have done, and it could have been even worse. But they kept control of it all. I know, and I can imagine that there'll be people listening to this saying, "Oh no, he's from Liverpool. He's bound to say that." Well, no, it isn't. As I've said to you before, I wouldn't come on national radio and try and paint a picture that wasn't true. I'm telling you a first-hand account of what I saw, of what my colleagues saw, and it's why there's such anger. And I know from some players' families were caught up in it. I know that former players' families were caught up in it. This was a disgrace. At the end, when the fans were let out, there was, from what I've been told from numerous fans this morning on the Eurostar back, there was like gangs of around about 1,000 local teenagers. They'd come for mischief in mind, and they were charging at Liverpool fans, and the police were standing back looking. There was reports of muggings going on. There was people trying to have the tickets stolen all day. I know somebody from who works from another one of the broadcasting companies who told me about what he'd seen with his own eyes. Just standing watching, like people being picked off by groups of kids, North African descent, going to just target people and take tickets or wallets or wherever. It was awful. It was absolutely awful, and it was really interesting to hear as well the guy, or the clip that you had on about the guy that had gone to the Stade de France and never seen an issue before with the rugby. I don't understand why it's happened now. It's just awful.
It's a very good point, Dom. Thanks so much for joining us. Safe journey back, pal.
No problem. Thanks you.
For that. That's Dom King there with some pretty stark evidence, that he's saying, look, this is what I've seen. Often there's a narrative painted, Mark, but in this case, it was just really poorly organised.
We heard there's some stuff that will happen. The line that is true is the fact that football supporters are simply part of society. It's not a separate issue. It's not a separate conversation. It's integral to everything that happens, and we are all basically just people. Elements of this are things that happen in any kind of could happen in any kind of situation.
Yes.
But the bit that was controllable, which is the organising of getting a guaranteed number of people through a pre-built infrastructure into a building that does this 50 times a year.
Yes.
And the fact that they couldn't organise that part of it correctly is an absolute travesty.
And also, Mark, just before we cut to a bit, strange things like anybody with a football top on the Champs-Elysees will be arrested. What's that about?
Well,
How does that make you feel welcome in a city?
Well, when we were talking about it Saturday afternoon, it sounded funny and silly.
Yeah.
Now it just sounds nasty and vindictive and pointless, and you're looking in the wrong direction. You think that's important?
Absolutely right. That was Dom King. He's the Daily Mail Northern football correspondent.